Testing, testing.
Have you done many games from here this season? Where do the commentators usually stand to get the best view?
On my right side.
To your right, so over here?
Yeah. I think that's the reason I gave you the extended lead, so I can probably
Around to actually. Then I'd get in your way there, won't I? So.
everything without getting turned across them on the top level. If I stand out here at a place where I can shoot, so basically have to be on the same side.
Good. It's you. No.
I'll put the effects mics on the left.
Cool.
I can move it to the right. You just have to be on the right side.
No, that's cool. I've got to find up your last.
Assuming the broadcast standards are the same as and if they qualify for the national second tier league, I think they've got great players. Victory Altona. Asian champions, so so for finals, so quarterfinals, semi-finals, Asian champions, so Kawasaki Al-Nasa, athlete Al-Bilal, Al-Nasa Kawasaki,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Olympic Village. Between the game of Heidelberg United versus Clifton Hill. The starting lineup for Clifton Hill: number 9, Hamish Anderson. Number 3, Peter Bermudis. Number 7, Jake Sienta. Number 12, Robert Harpison. Number 2, Costa Kamakaris. Number 17, Jesse Kirill Graham. Number 21, Ryan Kirkus. Number 18, Levi Lim. Number 10, Dean Lorenzi. Number 15, Jaden Van der Hagen. And number 1, Andrew Withers. The starting lineup for Heidelberg United: number 8, Sharif Adara. Number 4, Jamal Ali. Number 13, Johnny Apostolopoulos. Number 20, Max Bassetto. Number 3, Ben Collins. Number 15, Chuck Dahl. Number 22, our goalkeeper for the night, Ryan Govan. Number 19, Peter Klassen. Number 12, Daria Markovic. Number 17, Jay McGarren. And finally,
Welcome one and all on this chilly Wednesday evening in Melbourne's north for some Dockerty Cup action / Australia Cup action. The magic of the cup rings out in the air as David comes to Catalina Street seeking to slay not Goliath but Alexander. Heidelberg United, the leaders of the NPL Men's Victoria, playing host to the last remaining State League side in this competition, FC Clifton Hill. My name is Joseph Lynch. Thank you ever so much for your company on this evening on the Football Victoria YouTube page, where you can catch every game of the Dockerty Cup being streamed live and free henceforth from this point in the competition. Two sides getting set to do battle, looking to move into the quarterfinals of this venerable competition, as well as put themselves just one more win away from the national stages of the Hahn Australia Cup. Plenty of changes, as you might expect from midweek cup action for both these sides. 7 changes for Heidelberg United from the side that defeated Melbourne Knights 2-1 at this venue over the weekend, ensuring they remained atop the NPL Men's Victoria table. Ryan Govan, who has been starting in the cup, he comes into the side in goal in place of Yaron Souza. Souza not even on the team sheet tonight. It is Sam Robson, the under-23s and under-19s keeper, that will serve as the backup. Ben Collins, he retains his place in the starting 11 from the weekend, as does Jamal Ali and Moadara. Dalibor Markovic comes into the side. Johnny Apostolopoulos comes into the side. Choc Dow comes in. Jay McGowan, Anthony Theodoropoulos, Peter Klassen, and Max Bissesso is the other that retains his place in the starting 11 from that win over the Knights. FC Clifton Hill, the underdogs. Plenty of changes for them over the weeks and months. Plenty of changes since the last time they were in action in this competition, where they claimed the scalp of VPL 1 side Lang Warren, winning 2-1 in that contest. Andrew Withers is in goal for them. Kostas Kanakaris in front of him. Peter Berdenis, Jake Chanter, Hamish Anderson, Dean Lorenzi, Robert Farquharson, Jaden van der Heijden, Jesse Cooley-Graham, Levi Lim, and Ryan Kirkus, tasked by coach Nick Georgakopoulos with going out there and causing what would be one of the great cut sets in this year's Dockerty Cup. As it is the hosts that get us underway in the form of Peter Klassen. Inevitably for Heidelberg, this is an opportunity not just to move on to another round of the Cup, but for plenty of these players tonight, a chance to press their case for further minutes in the league as well, as Johnny Anastasiadis' side look to charge towards a premiership, which would in turn come with qualification for the first ever national second-tier competition and top seeding in the end-of-season finals. As they try to get something going down the right here, Johnny Apostolopoulos. He'll go back to Jamal Ali, who will in turn go to Ryan Govan. Ali. One probably would expect Heidelberg United to have plenty of the ball in this contest. The more highly fancied side playing at home. The onus will be on them to break down FC Clifton Hill and earn any kind of victory they get, as they're going to turn the ball over there. Lim getting an early touch and setting it out to the right. Attempted flick around the corner from Kirkus, doesn't quite come off. Clifton Hill will have the ball on that far right-hand side. The Hillmen on the road again in this Dockerty Cup run. They haven't actually played at home yet. On the road to beat Lang Warren last time out before that. Beating Corio SC at Corio's Digs. 2-0 win over Bell Park away from home, as was their 6-0 win to start the campaign against White City Dandenong. Jacob Batista, who is on the bench tonight. Option to come off and potentially provide some sort of late impact. He scored 4 goals in that win over White Star Dandenong. FC Clifton Hill with a couple of contenders for the Alec Forrest medal for most goals in the Dockerty Cup. The lead is 4. The lead, is 6. The aforementioned Batista has 4. Dean Lorenzi has 5. But any thoughts of goals? I'm going to have to make way for defending at this point in time. As Heidelberg here, just the 3rd minute, about to tick over into the 4th, have their first corner of the game. Chock down, getting set to take. Big pack has formed. Just around the penalty spot before the runs come. Dow thought better of the first delivery. Decent one with the second, has turned around the corner, and first blood drawn by Heidelberg United. Didn't take them long. Max Bassetto, I believe it was, with the final touch. And well, less than 3.5 minutes into this contest, the headline writers, the scribes, those searching for a fairy tale, suffer an early blow. As Heidelberg United get a corner, send it in, and turn it into the back of the net for an early lead. Now, how does Clifton Hill respond is the question. Can they respond quickly, breaking down this right flank? Kirkus turned it backwards, but ensured that his side would retain possession. Dennis coming across to take the throw in on that far right-hand side. Kirkus lays it back, just able to be kept in by Cooley Graham. But in the end, Heidelberg will get the numbers back, clog up the passing lanes, deny the options, and earn themselves a throw-in on that far left side. Dalibor Markovic, the ball in his hands. One of the problems for Clifton Hill coming into this game is that, yes, Johnny Anastasiadis has rotated his squad quite heavily. The problem, though, is that Heidelberg have such a deep roster in 2025 that you've got players like Dalibor Markovic to come into the squad. Over on this right-hand side, Apostolopoulos hurls it forward. And able to be nodded on by the Burgers, and that will give Chanter a chance to try to get something going for Clifton Hill. Kanakaris in there as well. Back to Withers, familiar figure potentially for Heidelberg. Spent time with the likes of Port Melbourne, the Dandenong Thunder, and the Bentley Greens. Markovic cleaning up, as does Collins, all the way back to Ryan Govan. And a couple of league starts in Ryan Govan. Round 1 against the Melbourne Knights, as well as featuring against Preston. Not sure how much work he'll have to do tonight, but he'll no doubt be looking to make the most of it and retain some level of sharpness. Always a difficult task when you're searching for any minutes that you possibly can, and Yaron Souza, one of the best keepers in Victoria, is in front of you. Now that's a decent ball across. Chanter was there lurking for Clifton Hill. Heidelberg had the numbers. Jay McGowan knocking it back. Ali didn't like what he saw in front of him. Ryan Govan. Dara across to Ali. Kanakaris picked it out. Clifton Hill unable to come away with it, however, and there's a bit of space in here. Apostolopoulos sending the ball in. Couldn't find McGowan. Lim getting across to try to defend, as is Chanta. The latter still working hard, but Heidelberg coming away. The cut back to the top of the box. It'll work its way through and be blocked off. Good defending by Clifton Hill. But they'll have to maintain that effort. Heidelberg reloading. Attempted just dink across the penalty area by Max Bissesso. Couldn't find a teammate. Berger's now working for the byline and not working to keep it in as it rolls out. And Withers can have himself a goal kick. Booted long, but to nobody in particular. Collins has the time to collect. Collins. Hamish Anderson shows in the touchline, and that's where he goes. Going on a bit of an adventure upfield before laying it off. Bissesso had to just move it on and was able to get it to Klassen. Well organised 4-4-2 block from Clifton Hill. Denying the obvious pass, the obvious runs for Heidelberg. Forcing them to content themselves right now with a throw-in, as well as that one goal lead derived from a set piece. Bissetto just unable to sneak his way into the box. Anderson trying to throw his weight around up there for Clifton Hill. Markovic to take the throw in. Not having a lot of joy looking for an option. Just hurls it forward for Klassen. He's bundled over fairly. Attempted combination play by Clifton Hill doesn't quite come off. Ball is played in behind and the flag will be raised on this near side. Our referee tonight is Bailey Panuto, assisted by Ben Howell and Aidan Skinner. The fourth official is Daniel Woodyat. Eugene Brazzali is the referee's assessor. It's not the most convincing clearance. Chanta was there for Clifton Hill. Ali kept it along the turf. Dara forced to go back. That veteran steadying presence in the Heidelberg United midfield. No doubt all of the Burgers will have just had any sort of anxiety or thoughts about what might be in these sort of one-off games eased by that early goal. There is a level of pressure that comes with being an overwhelming favourite. Adara shielding the ball, and then a bit of miscommunication. We'll see them cough it up. It was Keely Graham coming over to put the initial body into the Heidelberg midfielder, and then Levi Lim just marshalling it over the touchline so that Clifton Hill can have a throw-in taken by Kanakaris. Farquharson moving it along for Van der Heijden. Just the radar's a bit off for FC Clifton Hill. They did make it through to the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup just a few years ago, back in 2023, where they faced Northcote City. Going down to Hercules on that evening. Coming in somewhat indifferent league form as well are the Hillmen. One draw with Western Suburbs on the weekend. Snapped a run of 4 straight defeats where they'd failed to score. I mean, that goal against Western Suburbs was of the own variety. So I haven't been in the most prolific goal-scoring form in league play. And Dean Lorenzi and Batista, they do have some decent scorers in the cup. Peter Georges, another player on the bench for Clifton Hill. He has 2 to his name thus far. Collins. Had Hamish Anderson in his face. Induced him to go back to Ryan Govan. Ali. Adara. Bit of a heavy touch. Lorenzi's going to poke it clear. And he's going to shoot from right! Lorenzi! Dean Lorenzi! Magnificent! A hole-in-one from Dean Lorenzi. Ryan Govan caught off his line. And an absolutely picture-perfect lob. Could not have hit that any better. Just the right amount of elevation to drop it over the Heidelberg keeper into the back of the net. And just like that, a moment of inspiration sees FC Clifton Hill, the lowest ranked side remaining in this Dockerty Cup, draw level with the NPL men's Victoria leaders. Wow. Light bulbs are flashing on that opposite side of the pitch. The flash photography is in effect. And now, 15 minutes in, it is game on once more. Just a heavy touch from Adara. Dean Lorenzi pokes it away. And then he knows immediately where it's going. He also knew exactly where the celebration was going, immediately heading for that corner flag. An inspired strike from the Hillman's attacker, who now have a free kick here, taken quickly. Kanakaris. He's going to loop a ball long, wanted. A couple of players were in there. Kirkus was the intended recipient. Couldn't get it to him. Cooley Graham. So tails up now from Clifton Hill. Bouncing back from that early goal from the Burgers just 3.5 minutes in. Max Macedo from the corner. So easy in those circumstances when you are the heavy dog and then the heavy underdog and you get punched in the mouth in the opening 5 minutes. kind of circumstances that can easily lead to a blowout. Withers out of his area to head it clear. Clifton Hill swarming. With his boots it clear, and should also mention now Lorenzi moves to 6 goals in this Dockerty Cup campaign. That moves him equal top of the goal scoring charts. Now part of what is a 4-way tie for the Alec Forrest medal, joining Daniel Radenkovic of Balmoral, Leon Kyriakos of Old Ivanhoe, and Macy Namdar of Hampton Park United Sparrows. Alec Forrest. Oh, here we go. You could see the gears turning in Hamish Anderson's head there for a second as he considered going long himself. Govan able to get back in time. Instead, Clifton Hill will look to build up. Heidelberg getting back in numbers. Still in possession of the Hillman. Long ball forward. Hands going up, appealing for offside, and it's awarded. Appeals for a yellow card on Ryan Kirkus from the Heidelberg fans. After he rattles the side netting after the flag went up. Ali didn't like what he saw further upfield, so instead he'll just go across to Jay McGowan, who he comes under immediate pressure from Jake Chanta. Collins. Clifton Hill, they're certainly presenting a united front in this 4-4-2 block, but good movement from Heidelberg to at least move it towards their attacking penalty area. Have seen the Burgers score so freely in the top flight this season. Mammoth-esque for a State League side. But they've repulsed them once again. Andrew Withers coming across to pick it up. Since across New Zealand, Sweden and the USA, in addition to Australia, across Withers' long career. Seem to remember in goalkeeping in long pants once for Port Melbourne. I wonder if he was tempted to do so tonight. Very chilly conditions out here in Olympic Village. Farquharson. Have Levi Lim in support, dropping between the two centre-backs to provide an additional option, and it's going to help Clifton Hill move the ball forward. High ball from Cooley Graham across to the right-hand flank. Bit of space for Clifton Hill to operate in. High ball forward. Chances there for Clifton Hill. Falls to Lorenzi. Anderson. Game of head tennis breaks out. Eventually Heidelberg clear, but not too far. Cooley Graham has it poked away from him and potentially transition on for Heidelberg. Steaming forward, Klassen's there on the right. The sliding challenge comes in. Play on is the call. Anthony Theodoropoulos at a head of steam, but couldn't get the ball away. Heidelberg, though, retain in possession, but not for long. Farquharson picking it up for Clifton Hill. They'll attempt to now build out, but that's a poor ball. Adara picking it out for Heidelberg United and getting it away under pressure from Dean Lorenzi. Heidelberg building up, heading towards the club rooms here at Olympic Village. A few Litleys that have just finished training, having a bit of a run behind the goals, as that's a good ball in behind. But then the cross from Johnny Apostolopoulos was just impeded enough to prevent it from finding a teammate in Clifton Hill clear. And Hahn. That's a good ball forward, Lorenzi. Well, we know he can shoot from range. Instead, he keeps it along the turf. It's a good one, too. Jake Chanta, he's going to wind up, and he's going to bend that one wide. It always looked wide coming off the boot. But FC Clifton Hill working away. Just mentioned they're not exactly having the best season in Men's State League 1 at the moment. Second bottom in their league campaign thus far, but that is the beauty of the cup. Everything else goes out the window just for 90 minutes. Doesn't matter where you are in the league. It doesn't matter how many ex-A-League players or foreign internationals you have in your ranks. It's all about who is better across the 90 minutes, 120 minutes if needed, or penalties. So that's a good ball in behind. Apostolopoulos doing his bit to help Heidelberg prove that they are the better ones across the 90. And it'll be a free kick just outside the penalty area for Heidelberg. Interesting position for them to get one. He's intriguing, so close to the edge of the penalty area. Very hard to get underneath it and drop it down onto someone, but the angle also means that shooting almost certainly not an option. Chok Dow is there to take it, the West Australian. One arm goes up. I have to think he's looking for somebody at the back post. That's where it goes, headed clear by Clifton Hill. Heidelberg have numbers at the top of the box, but there's a wall of dark blue shirts there. And now there is space to exploit. Here they come, Clifton Hill. Kirkus with the shot straight down the gullet of Ryan Govan. But quick as a flash, Clifton Hill getting forward. You have had to have thought coming into this game that Nick Georgakopoulos would have identified those moments of transition. Those quick turnovers and bursting upfield would be the moments where his side would feast. And they would have really keyed in on in their pre-game preparations. And we saw there just the level of rapidness that Clifton Hill can muster. 27th minute here at Olympic Village. Heidelberg United 1, FC Clifton Hill 1. Cooley Graham knocking that one back to Withers. Just takes a pause, allows Clifton Hill to get set up, but that's a poor pass. Klassen dragged it across. Adara was there, just sort of ricocheted off a defender in the end, and it'll be a corner. Thought it might have last come off the Heidelberg midfielder, but fortune favours Alexander. Yeah, we saw Bissetto turn one in just 3.5 minutes in for Heidelberg United. He's back in the penalty area now. Lee and Collins have come forward. It's taken short, move out of the training track for Heidelberg. And from our broadcast position there, Jay McGowan looked like he might have just picked out the tippy top corner, but bending just far and away from Andrew Withers' goal to see the scores remain 1-1. Lee. Another searching ball in behind. Clifton is going to get there. Heidelberg immediately springing forward in numbers. Markovic plays it to Bissetto. It's going to loop off. Burdenis in the road and go out for a corner kick. The chop down will again jog across to take. He's been taking them from the right-hand side. Now we'll get one from the left. So swinging it in on a different trajectory. Heidelberg once more getting that tall timber forward. Collins and Ali. Klassen's in there as well. He's not a small man. He's the former Redlands United attacker. In-swinging delivery. It's going to fall, and then Collins. Left-footed effort. Well, it's not even going to go out in the end. Truckdale will keep it in. That delivery, not the best. Cooley Graham just knock it clear. Anywhere but here, say Clifton Hill. As they surrender a throw-in. This one of 3 Dockerty Cup games taking place this evening. We'll let this attack develop before we bring you the live scores from elsewhere. Adara. Massive bodies back for Clifton Hill. Ball's going to bounce off the referee. And the ball will be given to the visitors. So other action this game, 1-1. As the cries of Alexandros ring out from the stands. Hume City against Oakley, a battle of 2 top-flight sides. The old SofaScore app says that it is 1-1 out there in Broadmeadows. Oakley opening the scoring, Hume City answering back. And then out at John Cain Memorial, VPL 1 outfit Northcote City looking to return to the national stages against the Melbourne Knights. That game is 1-0 in favour of the visiting Melbourne Knights. John Markovski's first game in charge of Croatia, and he's looking to ensure that he does salute as a winner. Long ball forward. Getting in the road was Ganakaris. Anderson turning it around the corner. Lorenzi's going to give chase. Collins knocks it forward. Chucked down. Again, one way and then the other. You'd have to think that after watching Dean Lorenzi seize on a turnover in this vicinity and lob the keeper, Clifton Hill will be energetic with their pressing and counter-pressing. That one's going to be a throw into Clifton Hill, much to the chagrin of a few of the Heidelberg players. Max Bissetto still pleading his case. So Clifton Hill to take, just on the halfway line. But, well, Levi Lim's going to wish that he was able to have that one back. Collins across to Ali. Dara. Theodoropoulos knocks it on to McGowan. Jay McGowan had a couple of players arriving, but he was able to get rid of it in time, but Chalkdale getting right underneath that attempt and sending it into the chilly night sky. There's a few late arrivals here at Olympic Village. Beers in hands, a man with experience with both camps. Former Clifton Hill and Heidelberg representative Harry Noon in attendance. Was part of that Clifton Hill side that made the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup a few years ago. Good relationship between Heidelberg United and Clifton Hill. Collins knocks the ball forward. Markovic keeps it along the turf. The intervention needed to be good from Robert Farquharson, and it was. And all hands on deck once more for this corner for FC Clifton Hill. Another in-swinging delivery, it's met and nodded just wide. Johnny Apostolopoulos getting the faintest of touches on it and unable to steer it in. And I don't think that Andrew Withers was not too happy with maybe some of the bodies put on him during that corner. Having a few words with referee Bailey Panuto. Withers is able to shut out the attempts to put him off from those juniors behind the goal. Boot it forward, but instead it comes straight back. Heidelberg United getting forward in numbers. Pacetto runs out of real estate, knocks it out. Another long high ball out. Hamish Anderson tried to get underneath it. It's going to get knocked forward. The foot race is on. Jake Chianta was there for Clifton Hill. Ryan Gover just able to get out there first. Another ball down this right flank for Heidelberg. It's been an area of the park they've tried to open up space in a few times this evening. Trying to catch Kostas Kanakaris just getting forward. Johnny Apostolopoulos, ball in his hands. With a Klassen. Kanakaris heads it away. Nodded on. Anderson steaming back to prevent Ali from having the initial pass to Govan. Collins now trying to loop something in behind. Verdenis just got his knees on it. Bassetto turning on the Jets. It's a decent cutback. Then just cleared away by Van der Heijden. So Clifton Hill's defensive rear guard continues to hold. Unbroken since 3.5 minutes into this game. Dean Lorenzi tying them up with a goal from nearly the halfway line as well. He's on the ball now, and that's a good ball in behind. Anderson giving chase. But Ryan Govan spying the danger, coming out of his area and booting it clear. With just about 7 minutes of regulation remaining in this opening stanza, plus whatever our fourth official, Daniel Woodyat, determines, just any opportunity for Clifton Hill to just get this ball into Heidelberg side of the park, just give their defence a chance to collect themselves. It's not as good as a goal, but it's still pretty good. However, Heidelberg will now have possession with a goal kick. I wonder when maybe a bit of frustration might start to kick in for Heidelberg, especially if they're unable to retake the lead before the beginning of the second stanza. They would have come into this one, even with the rotations, expecting to progress. The NPL Men's Victoria League leaders coming up against the State League One side. However, they're certainly being made to earn it across this opening 45 minutes. A few of the old fellas up here in the grandstand at Olympic Village, their gesticulations, their tactical conversations just becoming a little bit more vociferous as they have progressed. There's Withers, boots it forward. Ganakaris, the intended recipient. He's bundled over. It's going to be a Clifton Hill ball. Johnny Apostolopoulos tried to take it quickly for Heidelberg. And there we go. Is that frustration maybe seeping in? Could also just be, of course, competitiveness, which all of these players certainly have. Anderson's attempt to nod it on. Didn't make the cleanest of contacts, but still. Lorenzi will battle for it and get possession. Jake Chianta was closed down quickly. You can see Clifton Hill trying to just counter-press quickly, win it back, lock it in Heidelberg side of the pitch. Well, Peter Klassen took a tumble there, but play on was the call. Charge down. Maybe an error here, and Heidelberg should take the lead. They will retake the lead. Chokdao getting up, putting in the work, and getting rewarded. The South Sudanese international getting on the score sheet. And well, you were wondering, could Heidelberg take back the lead before the opening 45 minutes was concluded? And they have. In the 41st, the hosts, Alexander, reclaim the advantage. It is Heidelberg United 2, FC Clifton Hill 1. Has to be such a disappointing way to concede as well if you are Clifton Hill. They'd batten down the hatches. Only for just the error, the charge down of the attempted clearance, to see them cough up a go-ahead goal. And you can see how they immediately reacted, immediately pressed forward with intent, trying to win the ball back and equalise quickly. Instead, they'll have to make do with forcing Heidelberg United into a goal kick. In other games taking place tonight, the Oakley Cannons have reclaimed the lead against Hume City. Joe Guest with his second of the evening. All the way back to Withers, was hit with a bit of venom. And as you would expect after the goal that Heidelberg just scored, bit of Bronx cheers, sarcastic cheers from the Heidelberg fans. Kanakaris sliding across. Apostolopoulos plays it back, Ali. Govan. Basesso trying to open up the angle for a cross, couldn't do so. Seconds of regulation remaining here in this opening half per the big old scoreboard at Olympic Village. Collins, it's a good chip forward, just too much on it. Anthony Theodoropoulos unable to claim, and he was in an offside position anyway, so it would have counted for naught. Robbie Farquharson gets it from Withers, sends it back to him. Robbie Farquharson again. Boots it clear, Anderson brings it down on his knee. Lorenzi skips over a couple of challenges, and then has it poked away by Ali. Ball in behind. Withers lets it run to the top of the penalty area and takes it. Bit of energy being shown by Clifton Hill, trying to get an equaliser before the half is out. Kirkus sends it out to the right and then gets it back. The visitors will be forced to reset. Farquharson and to Hayden. Farquharson, you could see what he was trying to do, get it to Kanakaris, but instead the turnover comes. Jay McGowan, he couldn't find a teammate, deflects out, and it's going to be a free kick. Won by Johnny Apostolopoulos. And now this is going to be in an intriguing position for Heidelberg United. It's pretty close to the edge of the penalty area, so if you are going to get it up and get it back down, you're going to have to be pinpoint with it. Chokdale shaping like he's going to take this one. Anthony Theodoropoulos is there as well. As referee Bailey Panuto just marches the wall back for Clifton Hill. How many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's a 6th one in there as well. No draft excluder. There's Kanakaris. Moves up to set up his own little wall. So Chokdale looking for a brace. Sending it straight into the wall. The rebound forces a fine save from Withers. And then Max Basesso has that one slice off his boot. Have to make sure you're not bleeding after slicing something like that. Shooting straight away from goal and out for a goal kick. Meanwhile, our fourth official did signal that there would be 2 minutes of added time. So not long remaining in this opening stanza, and that'll be a free kick awarded against Hamish Anderson. Good season signing from Yarraville for Clifton Hill was Anderson. John McShane leaving the club since their last win in the Dockerty Cup. So one big man out for another in. And 45 minutes is in the books at Olympic Village, and at halftime in this round of 16 Dockerty Cup clash, it is the hosts, Heidelberg United, with a 2-1 lead over Clifton Hill. Max Bassetto putting the hosts ahead early, just 3.5 minutes in from a corner. Dean Lorenzi equalising from nearly the halfway line for Clifton Hill before Choctaw capitalising and putting Clifton Hill back ahead. 45 minutes to come, though, for Clifton Hill to get something out of this game. So we'll be back with you for the second half. You'll have the countdown clock for company while we wait for then, so be sure to join us for all the action. Welcome back, one and all, to Olympic Village for the second half of this round of 16 Dockerty Cup clash between Heidelberg United and FC Clifton Hill. And if you are just joining us for the second stanza, it is the hosts, Heidelberg United, holding on to a 2-1 lead, taking the advantage very early on through Max Bassetto. Dean Lorenzi equalised from nearly the halfway line for FC Clifton Hill, but then just before the halftime break, a breakdown at the back for Clifton Hill, a turnover, and that enabled Choctaw to get forward and put Heidelberg United in the ascendancy once more. My name is Joey Lynch. Thank you ever so much for joining us tonight for all of the action. This one of 3 games taking place across the Dockerty Cup. As mentioned, Heidelberg United leading Clifton Hill 2-1. Hume City trailing the Oakley Cannons 2-1. And Northcote City trailing Melbourne Knights 1-0 at John Cain Memorial Reserve. As FC Clifton Hill, who have battled tonight, they've been game, they've been good value in forcing Heidelberg United to earn absolutely everything. Just a couple of momentary lapses seeing them fall into a deficit, but they've gotten forward here. Jesse Cooley-Graham will have themselves a corner. Their first corner of the game from memory. Ball in, attempted flick on around the corner from Van der Heijden. Knocked away, but only so far as the second FC Clifton Hill corner of this game. High ball, dropped to the top of the 6-yard box. Play keeps going. Lim trying to keep it alive for Clifton Hill. Good sliding challenge comes in from Dean Lorenzi. And it's going to go out for a throw-in to Heidelberg United. But an opportunity maybe for the side in dark blue to set up a defensive cordon. Try to lock the Burgers in. Try to force a turnover and grab another goal. And the turnover has come. What next? Kirkus knocks it in. There's nobody there waiting for it. And Ryan Govan collects. Now, potentially the quick break for Heidelberg. Jay McGowan. He's got Bassetto and Dow in the middle. It's to the top of the box. Klassen put his boot through it and sent it into the trees next to the old scoreboard here at Olympic Village. High ball forward. Kirkus gives chase. Ben Collins got in the road and then cleared it away before Anderson could arrive. Free kick, Heidelberg. See Burdenis is disgusted with the decision. Hands on head. Heidelberg United coming into this game in red-hot form in the league. And over the likes of the Oakley Cannons and Avondale FC in the last month. Beat St Albans and Hampton East Brighton in the cup to get to this point. As mentioned, they had the 2-1 win over the Melbourne Knights on the weekend. Anthony Lesiotis, who's on the bench for Johnny Anastasiadis tonight, scoring the winner from a free kick. Scored against Melbourne Knights back in round 1 as well. That occasion a defeat for Heidelberg, one of just 2 they've suffered on the campaign. They'll have themselves a free kick here, taken quickly. Chuck Dow to Bassetto. Seto, high ball towards the back post. It's going to run, and it's going to run all the way out. And both units have their benches getting limber over there, just behind where the goal kick is going to be taken. It's Anthony Lesiotis, Fletcher Fulton, Bull Juarch, Saviton Gore, and Ryan Lethlean on the bench for Heidelberg United. So, pretty handy additions to have in reserve if you're Johnny Anastasiadis. As mentioned, Sam Robson is the backup goalkeeper, the youngster. Chris Theodoridis, a former Heidelberg United representative, is the backup goalkeeper for Clifton Hill. Peter Georges, Josh Jelos, Jackson Paisler, and Jacob Batista. Options on the bench for Clifton Hill. Batista has 4 goals on the campaign, albeit they all came in one game. And the long-range blast from Apostolopoulos. Just over the crossbar. Heidelberg United, they'll be away at the home of the Matildas on Sunday, facing off against Melbourne Victory. FC Clifton Hill, they're away to Corio on Saturday, Arvo. Long drive out west for Clifton Hill. Did beat Corio 5-1 in the Cup. So no doubt the hosts will be looking for some semblance of vengeance. As Heidelberg get forward once more, McGowan across the face of goal, nobody there to meet it. Jay McGowan just turning on the Jets, getting away from Kostas Kanakaris. Feels for a foul throw from the Heidelberg contingent in the stands. Players allowed to continue. Collins goes back to retrieve it and has time to amble out. Across to Ali. Apostolopoulos. Significant pressure, but he gets it to McGowan. Heidelberg trying to open something up on that right-hand flank. The flag goes up for offside. So as we saw for large periods of the opening half, Heidelberg United beginning to just control possession, control the territory, forcing Clifton Hill back on their heels. But just as it was the case for large sections of that opening stanza, Clifton Hill remaining firm. Anderson nods it on. Ball up for grabs. Ali comes away with it for Heidelberg, and he's going to keep going. Jamal Ali was all opening up in front of him. Pokes it around the corner, and he just can't find a teammate. Kanakaris clears it away. And then it's offside as well. I don't think the centre-back quite knew what to do with himself as he kept just moving up the park and finding space in front of him. He almost could have backed himself for a shot. Trying to play out from the back, Clifton Hill. And they're just forced to put their boot through it. Collision there between Collins and Anderson. Anderson immediately gets up with his palms in the air. Doesn't look like Collins felt that there was any sort of malice in it. So it looks like Heidelberg are preparing to make a change. It looks like Lesiotis has the bib off and is preparing to be injected into this Heidelberg midfield. We'll see what sort of reshuffle that creates. Well, Theodoridis is up and tucking in the shirt as well. Could we be seeing a goalkeeping change for Clifton Hill? He's put the gloves on as well. We'll keep an eye on that. Curly Graham. Back to Withers. Kirkus just has it get away from him. Adara. Keeping along the turf forward, and that's going to be offside. Withers made the fine save on the attempt by Peter Klassen, but it wouldn't have mattered had it gone through. Here we go, changes coming for Heidelberg. Moadara will be the one summoned to the touchline to come off for Lesiotis. And Max Bassetto will also make way for Sabat Gore. So, well done, Clifton Hill. You've kept out Heidelberg for the best part of 57 minutes, so now they're going to bring on Anthony Lesiotis and Sabat Gore. A bit thankless, really. As we also see, yep, Clifton Hill have made the goalkeeping change as well. So Andrew Withers makes way for Christopher Theodoridis, a veteran of appearances on the national stages of the Australia Cup with Heidelberg United. A memorable run back in 2018. Now he takes up position in goals and will get an early touch with this free kick for the offside. High ball forward, Collins with a defensive header. Head of steam coming through Van Eyden. Couldn't keep going and find a teammate. Dropped down. Sliding challenge away from him by Kanakaris. Taken quickly by Heidelberg. Savitengor. Across the face of goal. Just over the head of McGowan. Comes back in. Theodoridis got a touch. Desperate defending from Clifton Hill. And eventually the shot is sent wide and out for another goal kick. Clifton Hill made another change as well. Peter Georgius has come on for the visitors. Slotting into the midfield there. As another substitute, Lesiotis makes the header. Savitengor able to retain possession on loan from the Central Coast Mariners. Free kick on that far right-hand side for Heidelberg. It's taken short. Lesiotis on the better angle. Nods it into Collins, who just puts it wide. A couple of quick-fire goals over there at John Cain Memorial Reserve. The Melbourne Knights taking a 2-0 lead in the 57th minute, only for Northcote to answer back 4 minutes later and bring the deficit back down to 1. Makaris is going to get there just before Savitengor, and then the Heidelberg attacker made him earn it. I don't think Kostas Ganakaris was expecting the winger to get there that quickly. Probably won't be making that mistake again. Dalibor Markovic McGowan trying to get away from Berdenis, who was able to go with him. Markovic sends it back central. Chuck Dow trying to dink it over the top for Klassen. Doesn't come off. Theodoropoulos sends it out to the right. Ali. He's pressed by Anderson. Forced back to Ben Collins. So Heidelberg looking to reset. McGowan again. Closed down by Ryan Kirkus. He's done well to retain possession. McGowan onto that left boot. Sliding challenge comes in, and well, Berdenis sort of kept sliding, but did enough to block it out and see it off for a corner. So another corner to be sent in by the Burgers. Taken short, Markovic, Dalibor Markovic. High left-footed ball to the back post, headed in. Theodoridis claims, and it would not have mattered as it was offside. And to Hayden. Kirkus lays it off backwards. Just breaks down once more for Clifton Hill. Ball over the top, chopped down. Seventon Gore waits in the middle, Estes Klassen. Dow goes himself, and Theodoridis gets horizontal to make the save. Klassen was there looking for the rebound, but had he made contact, the flag had gone up, signalling that he was offside. Theodoridis' clearance onto the head of Lesiotis. Jesse Cooley-Graham tried to claim it for Clifton Hill, but again Heidelberg breaking with speed. Chokdao, he's forced out to the right, the cutback. Clifton Hill eventually getting bodies in the road. Now the visitors looking to transition quickly. Anderson giving chase. Lesiotis there as well. Kept it in. No, he didn't. It's a spin move. Well, it was a successful spin move, but it was one that also took it out. Cooley-Graham. And to Hayden. So well organised in their shape is Heidelberg United, just as you'd expect from a Johnny Anastasiadis coach side. Clifton Hill doing their best to play through it. Berdenis couldn't find its intended recipient in Kirkus. Lesiotis. Sliding challenge from Chantas. Scythes him down. Former Moreland City man, Jake Chanter, just being told to calm down by the referee. Over an hour played here at Olympic Village. The score remains Heidelberg 2, Clifton Hill 1. All of our goals coming in the opening stanza. Certainly, though, Heidelberg asking a series of questions in these last few exchanges of Clifton Hill. The speed that they've shown in these attacks, creating all kinds of threat. They've done well on that occasion. It's Clifton Hill. Jesse Cooley-Graham showing a layer of coolness in possession, which promptly abandons his teammates further up the pitch. Collins. McGowan. Dalibor Markovic on the overlap. It's a low ball to the back post where it's going to be turned in. And just like that, in the form of the substitute, Seventengor, one imagines that the hammer blow has been delivered. A well-executed team move from Heidelberg United. Puts them up 3-1 and surely sends them into the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup. And just one win away from the national stages of the Hahn Australia Cup. McGowan combining very well with Dalibor Markovic, who looked up, put it exactly where it needed to be. Had teammates lining up for him. And now the mountain to climb for Clifton Hill got that little bit larger. They've also made a change after the goal. Hamish Anderson making way. Jackson Paisley coming on. Oh, that one's just kept out by Ryan Govan. High ball and then just flapping at it, trying to clear it away. McGowan laying it off to Markovic. He's round one. Round two, well done, Dalibor Markovic. Trying to keep cool in possession, Heidelberg. Don't just want to boot the ball away. Ryan Govan. Out to Ali. Dennis headed it down, but McGowan picked it up anyway. Seventengor. Dalibor Markovic was coming through the sliding challenge as the crumbs picked up by Seventengor. Left-footed ball in over the head of the flying Klassen. Maybe he's come up a bit of a cropper there. Bull Joach on the bench for Heidelberg. One imagines that maybe Johnny Anastasiadis didn't want to use him tonight if he didn't have to. Anastasiadis to Markovic. Theodoropoulos sends it out to the right. Heidelberg knocking it around just a little bit more now. The sting maybe going out of this game after that third goal that they scored. McGowan sent it in towards the near post, nobody waiting for it. Comfortable claim for Theodoridis. Around the grounds, Hume City have just nabbed themselves an equaliser against the Oakley Cannons. That game now locked at 2 goals apiece. Less than 20 minutes to go, and it is also 2-2 at John Cain Memorial Reserve. Northcote City grabbing an equaliser moments ago to go level with the Melbourne Knights. The winner of this game will face the winner of that Northcote City Melbourne Knights clash. Northcote City from the VPL 1 looking to return to the national stages. Did so back in 2023 at the expense of FC Clifton Hill. They were in the second tier of Victorian football back then as well. Melbourne Knights, of course, just a couple of years ago where they went on a run through the national stages of the Hahn Australia Cup before they were eliminated by the Brisbane Roar. Heidelberg United. Just last year, they hosted the Central Coast Mariners at Olympic Village and knocked out the then defending champions for falling to Oakley on penalties in the round of 16. As Markovic is through the cutback, cannot, finds the boot of his teammate in Peter Klassen. It looks like he stayed down. I'm not sure if he stayed down hurt or stayed down frustrated or a combo of both. He maybe looks to be in a bit of pain. So a couple of Clifton Hill players coming over to talk it out with referee Bailey Panuto as well. Maybe they won't play hurried up, or if they spied something they don't like. Well, Peter Klassen is back up to his feet. New signing in 2025 for Heidelberg, coming down from NPL Queensland. Redlands United. One wonders if his race was run. Do think I saw a couple of changes being prepared. Jamal Ali looks like he's about to make way for Ryan Lethlean. And that is signalled, maybe. And we will also see the change of Fletcher Fulton coming on for Ben Collins. So a couple of changes at centre back made by Heidelberg United. And it looks like Klassen's race might be run as Buljarch is up on his feet as well, right in the thick of things in the race for the NPL Men's Victoria Golden Boot is Buljarch after crossing over from Altona in the off-season. High ball forward, foot race is on. Kirkus, can he keep it in? No, he can't. Oh, no, and Klassen has come back out into the middle. Change being made for Clifton Hill as well. Dean Lorenzi is going to make way for Josh Jealous. Well, Buljarch was up, had the bib off, was ready to come on. Now he's just covered himself up with a blanket. So still standing though, so we'll wait to see whether or not Heidelberg will make a change at the number 9 position. They've swapped out both centre backs. Fulton and Ryan Lethlean coming on for Jamal Ali and Ben Collins. Ball booted forward. Klassen looks to have shaken off whatever was ailing him. Brought it down, played it on. McGowan coming up with it. Klassen was in an offside position, so he didn't pull the trigger. Markovic, McGowan. Chuck Dow with a nice little turn. That's a heavy touch from Fletcher Fulton, and that's going to result in a turnover. All booted forward. Dalibor Markovic brings it down in front of Jake Chanta. Johnny Apostolopoulos has gone into the back line for Heidelberg United alongside Ryan Lethlean. The latter on the ball now, finding Jay McGowan. Free kick for FC Clifton Hill. Less than 15 minutes of regulation remaining here in this one. Heidelberg United in a commanding position. Ryan Kirkus. It's a good ball over the top, but Jacob Batista, who has also come on for Clifton Hill amid that massive changes that was just made, was in an offside position. McGowan loses his marker. Joe McGowan, he's got options in the middle. But does he go himself? No, he squares it to the top of the box. Jake Chanta had that header go behind him. Markovic cleared it away, but only for a moment. Keely Graham. Jake Chanta goes himself off the crossbar. We've already had one moment of inspiration from Clifton Hill for their first goal. Jake Chanta trying his own flash of brilliance with that one. Just unable to dip it in and inside that far post. Lesiotis. Heidelberg United content to take their time. Lethlean. Markovic invites the pressure before knocking it backwards. Buljuach has shed the blanket on the sideline, so it looks like he will be introduced at the next available stoppage. Jesse Keely Graham doing his best to apply some level of pressure. This was Peter Georges. Heidelberg have been able to play their way forward. Chuck Dow. Sabaton Gore. A couple of players get their bodies onto him in a flash. And Heidelberg United will give away the free kick. And, well, Klassen will actually get to run this one out because Buljuach is going to be introduced, but he's going to be introduced for Anthony Theodoropoulos. So Heidelberg's leading man will get a chance to stretch his legs, a bit of midweek football. That ball's nodded on. Heidelberg just have the bodies there to deflect it away. Dalibor Markovic now, he'll lay it back off for Ryan Lethlean. You can clearly see that Heidelberg United have switched into game management mode. Big game against Melbourne Victory on the weekends. Avondale breathing down their necks atop the table. Last thing they need now is an injury or to overexert themselves. Buljuach, he'll get a touch. Tried to drag the ball back. Couldn't do so, but he did retain possession. Jay McGowan cutting inside, wanted the shot, deflected away. Buljuach goes to claim. Skips around one challenge. Jake Chanta keeps going with him, trying to win it back. Striker goes back to the centre-back, Ryan Lethlean. Chuck Dow, Lesiotis. Chested down, Clifton Hill, trying to just clear their lines. Kanakaris lost his footing, sees Heidelberg come up with it. Sabaton Gore Theodorita spills, and it's cleared away for a throw-in. So 10 minutes of regulation remaining in this one. Heidelberg United firmly in control. Absolutely last chance saloon areas if you are FC Clifton Hill. Meanwhile, around the grounds, late drama out in Broadmeadows. Hume City have twice come from behind and now find themselves leading 3-2 against the Oakley Cannons on the old Sofa Score app. Meanwhile, out at John Cain Memorial, Northcote City have taken a 3-2 lead over the Melbourne Knights. From down 2-0 to up 3-2, Northcote striking 3 goals in 16 minutes. And with less than 5 minutes remaining in that one on the old Sofa Score app, it is Hercules getting set to book themselves a place in the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup, the 7th round of Victorian qualifying for the Hahn Australia Cup against Heidelberg United. Let's call that a Katsakis derby. Former coach of Heidelberg United, now up at the Bentley Greens, ties to both Northcote and Heidelberg. Amongst others, of course. He was just the first one that popped into my head. Heidelberg United looking to seal this one out. There's been chance of Ole from the fans here at Olympic Village as they knock the ball around. Left lane. Not the best pass. It's going to invite Clifton Hill up, but Govan knocks it high upfield. Big coming together. Play on is the call. Peter Georges giving chase for Clifton Hill. And they're forced a turnover up high here. Batista knocks it in. Speed on display by Fletcher Fulton as he gets back to clean up. So Clifton Hill getting bodies forward for a long throw in. It's going to spill and be shot wide. Of course, not just Victorian teams in action from around the country tonight. Cup action. Queanbeyan City and Tigers up in the ACT. They're going to penalties. Scores locked at 2-2 at the end of extra time. The Mindil Aces and Darwin Olympic tied at 1-1 in their game. The winner of that game will advance to the national stages of the Hahn Australia Cup. Logan Lightning and Redlands tied at 3-3 in their game up in Queensland. So McGowan can't bring that ball down. Croatia Raiders up 2-1 over Adelaide Hills in South Australia. Campbelltown and the Metro Stars 0-0. And of course, here in Victoria, this game, 3-1 to Heidelberg United over FC Clifton Hill. Hume City leading the Oakley Cannons and Northcote storming back from 2-0 down to lead the Melbourne Knights 3-2. Heading into the 90th minute of that contest at John Cain Memorial. So drama aplenty as that's a high ball over the top. The flag has stayed down. Hazler trying to create something. Was swarmed by defenders. That one just ricocheting off Chuck Dowen out for a throw-in. Clifton Hill holding out hope of a miracle. They were game in the first half, but Heidelberg clearly bringing their guns to bear and creating some separation in the second. Is there going to be a late flurry? No. Well, at least not on that moment, as Jacob Batista sent the ball out. Clifton Hill's credit, they have created a few chances in these last few exchanges, potentially with Heidelberg's foot beginning to ease off the pedal. Jake Chanter hitting the crossbar from a very acute angle. Would have been an absolute worldie had he got it in. Look around the grandstands. People following along with the other games. Football 24 wrap-up. Sofa score wrap-up. The time-honoured tradition here at these local community grounds. What's happening around the joint? Northcote and the Melbourne Knights, they have gone now into added time. Northcote holding on to the lead as Heidelberg look to pad their advantage. Sliding challenge isn't there. Theodoridis with the block. Fletcher Fulton keeps play moving. McGowan looking for the top corner. And just getting underneath it a tad too much and setting it over the crossbar. Queanbeyan City and Tigers have converted the first two penalties of their shootout. Up there in the ACT. High ball forward from Lesiotis, headed clear. Left lane, knocks it away. Dennis to Chanter. Looks for the return ball. There was Peter Georges there as well. Chanter around the corner. Peter Georges, can he keep it in? He can. Over the head of Govan. He's going to get called back for an offside. So 88 minutes gone here at Olympic Village. This one being managed out, seen out by Heidelberg United. When the ACT, Queanbeyan have converted their third penalty. The Tigers have missed theirs. So advantage Queanbeyan City. Elsewhere, Mindelaces and Darwin Olympic. Looks like extra time will be needed in their contest, as it will in the Logan Lightning and Redlands clash. Still 3-1 here. It's 3-2. Advantage Hume against Oakley. And it's 3-2 for Northcote against the Melbourne Knights. So as it stands in the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup, the 7th rounds of Hahn Australia Cup preliminary qualifying, it's going to be Heidelberg United against Northcote. Athlete's clearing header. Markovic then gets it to Lesiotis. Chuck Dow tried to turn it around the corner. Fortune favoured him with the bounce. Sabaton Gore to the top of the box, and it's 4-2. Heidelberg United, no celebrations. The result put beyond doubt by Fletcher Fulton. And Heidelberg United, after being challenged in the opening half by FC Clifton Hill, have kicked away. Johnny Anastasiadis aside, just had too much for their state league foes to go with. And here with the signal for 3 further minutes to be played before full time can be signalled. It is Heidelberg United 4, FC Clifton Hill 1. So Nick Georgakopoulos' side, it was always going to be a very difficult task for them. Probably the worst opponent they could have drawn for this contest. Nick DeBano and the suited and booted boys doing them no favours with that live draw. And whilst game, this will be where their Dockerty Cup and Hahn Australia Cup journeys ends. Meanwhile, Queanbeyan City, they have triumphed in their penalty shootout against the Tigers up there in the ACT. Still locked up between the Mindil Aces and Darwin Olympic and Logan Lightning and Redlands in the Northern Territory in Queensland. We are now in added time in South Australia, and it's the Croatia Raiders still holding on to a 2-1 lead over the Adelaide Hills. An hour gone between Campbelltown and the Metro Stars. And that is 0-0. 4-1 here to Heidelberg. 3-2 to Hume City and Oakley out in Broadmeadows. And it has gone full time at John Cain Memorial, and Northcote City have come from 2-0 down to beat the Melbourne Knights 3-2. So the VPL 1 outfit knocking out Melbourne Knights. The Knights' horror season continues. Bottom of the NPL men's Victoria table, staring down relegation just past the halfway mark of the season, and now out of the cup. Hercules moving into the quarterfinals. Will it be Alexander joining them there? Well, yes, it will. They're up 4-1 in stoppage time. And here, Bulldrich for Heidelberg. Will it be 5-1? Heidelberg forced backwards. One wonders if they'll now just try to see this game out, knock it around. McGowan, Markovic, back to McGowan. No real drive from him to look for the byline at this point. They just want to see this game out. And full time here at Olympic Village, and Heidelberg United march on. 4-1 victors over FC Clifton Hill. They will play in the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup. They will play in... They march on. Got the early goal through Max Bassetta. They were challenged. You had the long-range bomb from Dean Lorenzi, but then that goal to Choctaw just before half-time, really breaking the backs of Northcote's resistance. And Heidelberg kicking away in the second stanza. They will move within one game of the national stages. They'll play Northcote City now. Alexander versus Hercules in that contest. Should be a good one, which you'll be able to see live and free on the Football Victoria YouTube page. It's been a pleasure to have your company this evening. My name has been Joey Lynch. Reminder, you can catch all the games from the Dockerty Cup and Nike FC Cup here live on YouTube. Be a friend, tell a friend. Make sure you subscribe to the Football Victoria YouTube page, as well as the NPL Victoria page, where you can see all the regular league action. But for now, I'll bid you adieu. Thanks and success.